What is the one thing that Corvette has always missed out on? Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Welcome back to another C8 Corvette Z06 news video. We are going to talk about some of the potential that the new C8 Corvette Z06 will get some exclusive colors. Now, for any of you who have spent any time following my channel, you will remember that before the base model C8 Corvette was even announced officially, I had a feeling that Chevy was going to give us a very specific color for the Corvette Z06. And as we get closer to seeing that Corvette Z06 officially, I am seeing a couple different reports popping up stating the same kind of thing. Most recently, we get an article from the CorvetteBlogger.com that says, are we going to see any exclusive colors for the C8 Corvette Z06? And they go into some detail, but there are really two colors that stand out here in my opinion. And like I said, in the very beginning, before the C8 Corvette was even officially announced by GM, I was speculating that GM was in fact going to give us some sort of Verde Ithaca style green. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is the color that Lamborghini actually used on their Huracan, and it is one of the nicest style color greens I have ever seen. And for some reason, very early on, I was getting a very intense feeling that GM was going to give us a color like this for the C8 Corvette Z06, because I knew that the Z06 was going to push hard into the supercar territory, and why not give it a supercar color as well? Now, of course, back then there was definitely no proof of anything like this happening, but we are getting closer and closer to seeing this Z06. As of this video, we are about 12 days away from officially seeing this thing on stage, officially getting some of the numbers and the specs of the car, and hopefully officially hearing some new colors coming for it. Now, there's two colors that keep popping up. In my research of the C8 Corvette Z06, two new colors keep popping up, and the first one is a Verde Ithaca style green, or as the Corvette blogger calls it, a Krypton green / acid green. Now, for those of you who don't know, there was a Krypton green made for the Camaro ZL1 in the 6th generation run, but it was short-lived, and it's unfortunate because it was one of the nicest colors. I do really believe that the C8 Corvette Z06 is going to get this option as well. It might not be necessarily the exact shade of Verde Ithaca or the exact shade of Krypton green, but I do believe we're going to get a bright green color, maybe even in that flat style that Rapid Blue and the new Amplify Orange use, which would also be really freaking cool. Now, the news from the CorvetteBlogger.com actually goes on to say a couple different colors as well, but my favorite here is definitely the Verde Ithaca Krypton green / acid green color. To be honest with you, green is not necessarily typically real high on my list, but there's something about that kind of green that just screams supercar, and I think the Z06 is going to be absolutely fitting of that. But we're going to go through this Corvette Blogger article because there are a couple other colors that are really interesting. One in particular that I see thrown around very often with the green version as well, that I also think would look really supercar on this Z06. So let's go through the article here. Real quick, guys, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is again going to be the guys over at Hyperion. They have recently redesigned the key fob security case once again, and now it is just a pop top. So you just open it up like this, and there's magnets up there that will actually snap it closed and keep your key protected. Now, the reason for a case like this is automotive theft. The signal that travels from the key to your car can actually be stolen, and then they can use that later to get into your car and steal it. Now, inside of this case, you can actually put your key right in there, close up the top, and now that signal is interrupted and it cannot be stolen. So this would be best at night, sitting beside your nightstand with your key in it, so no one could ever possibly do this to you. A lot of you out there are probably thinking that doesn't sound like it's overly real, but one of my subscribers recently reached out to me and had a car stolen in California. It was a Mercedes, and this would have actually prevented that particular theft from happening. And even if you're not looking for security, this is a good way to store a key inside of your car without your car knowing that it's there. Now, the best part is, guys, you can save 35% and get free shipping on this just by checking out the link down below and for being a horsepower obsessed fan. It starts off by saying an increasingly popular trend in the automotive manufacturing landscape is reserving a handful of unique exterior colors for the models / trim levels at the top of your range. Porsche's been doing this with its RS variants for decades with memorable colors like pure orange, ultraviolet, and lizard green. It isn't just high-end OEMs like Porsche doing this though. Toyota has employed its own limited paint strategy to keep its aging truck and SUV lineup fresh with outstanding results. Each year, Japan's largest automaker releases a couple of interesting or high-impact hues that can only be had by selecting their top-shelf, off-road focused TRD Pro trim level for your Tacoma, 4Runner, Tundra, or Sequoia. And those colors are Army Green, Quicksand, Inferno, and Voodoo. Since its debut as a standalone model in 2001, the Corvette Z06, Chevrolet's most pure sports car, has leaned the other direction, and that's a real shame. During its first year on sale, the C5 Z06 was only available in 5 of the Vette's 9 exterior colors. And they say, just imagine how cool and rare a dark bowling green metallic Z would be today. And I kind of know that because I just finished up a giveaway for a dark bowling green metallic C5 Corvette that was not a Z06. Stay tuned for the results of that video, guys. I will be making an announcement on the actual winner and filming everything with them as they pick up the car coming very soon. The article goes on to say that the Z's tendency for a limited palette continued through the rest of the C5's run in 2004. The C6 version picked right up where its predecessor left off when it debuted for the 2006 model year, with Arctic White and Monterey Red noticeably absent from the LS7 Monsters order guide. It wasn't until 2010 that the Z06 buyers were given access to every single color choice that the regular Corvette customers had always enjoyed. It took nearly a decade of rip-snorting Z06 production for the color pendulum to swing to neutral from its long stint in negative territory. Now, 13 years later, we believe the time is right for the size of the paint selection of the Z's order guide to surpass that of the base Stingray. I personally 100% agree with that little bit of article right there. It is time to kick this thing into supercar territory. The article goes on to say that the great thing is that General Motors already has a gaggle of shades that would both look incredible on the Z and do a good job of differentiating it at Cars and Coffee across the nation. Again, this is a great point. I really believe that Chevy is going to want the Z06 to stand out amongst the base C8 Corvette. You guys have already seen the pictures of the C8 Corvette Z06 kind of circulating the internet. GM recently released that and it was kind of antiseptic. It kind of left us wanting more. I'm a firm believer that whenever they do finally reveal this car, that they're going to show us the Z07 package Z06, and it's going to be a lot more aggressive. But for the time being, the base Z06 does in fact not look that much different from the base C8. So what better way to make sure people know what it is than offering some special colors for it? After that, the CorvetteBlogger.com article gets into some of their speculating colors, and the first one is really not necessarily on the top of my list, but it might be on some of yours, so we're going to talk about it. One of the very first colors that might be seen on the C8 Corvette Z06 is a pewter metallic. Now, it's kind of a mixture between silver and gray. It's not really necessarily my favorite. It was something that we saw a little bit on previous generation Corvettes, specifically the C5 Corvette. And I'm not 100% in love with it, but it is something we could possibly see. Next, of course, they talk about the Krypton green, acid green that we already touched on a little bit. And it is something that already exists in GM's color palette as well, so it would not be that far-fetched to see that make its way to the Corvette lineup. The next one is something that is noticeably missing from the lineup that really shouldn't be, because it literally has Corvette in the name of the paint color, and that is Corvette Racing Yellow. Now, as you guys know, for the base C8, we get Accelerate Yellow, which is a yellow color with a lot of blue in it, thus making more of a greenish, yellowish kind of thing. It's not really necessarily my favorite color, yellow. I am a much bigger fan of Corvette Racing Yellow, and I think that that would be really interesting to make a return on the Z06, considering it is on the C8R. And just like with the C7 generation lineup, the C8 Corvette Z06 is likely to mimic a lot of the C8R's design choices. And lastly, guys, the one last color that I am consistently seeing pop up with the Verde Ithaca style green is a purple color. Now, this is another color that would really scream supercar, because whenever I think of a supercar, for some reason, it immediately pops in my head, Huracan. And the Huracan comes in obviously Verde Ithaca, and it also comes in a purple shade. And again, we're talking about the C8 Corvette Z06. This is the Corvette with the engine in the rear, the Z06 being a flat plane crank. This thing is literally a supercar, so let's give it some supercar colors. That's pretty much it on the CorvetteBlogger.com. They go on to give in a little bit more detail as to why they think that that color, or hope that that color, makes it out. I will link the article in the description down below if you guys are interested in checking it out. But like I said, this is something that I've been talking about for quite some time now. The Verde Ithaca green was the one that immediately struck me as coming at some point for this car. Whether or not it makes it for the Z06, I'm not 100% sure, but I I get a strong feeling that that's what's coming, and I would personally be absolutely okay with seeing that. But what are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. What color would you like to see on this car, and do you agree with me that the green is coming and that purple is probably making its way out here as well? Let me know what you think down below. But guys, that is going to do it for today's video. If you liked what you saw, please smash that thumbs up button. Let me know you're liking it. Let YouTube know you're liking it, so as many automotive enthusiasts as possible can see and enjoy this video as well. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. I'm going to have loads of C8 Corvette Z06 news like this coming that you are not going to want to miss. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next upload.